ahead of the Heat for that final playoff spot with 3 games left. Pistons' magic number remains 2. Tigers KC today at Comerica Park at 1:10 right here on the ticket. Matt Moore pitching for the Tigers. Red Wings end their season tonight at home, hosting Buffalo. 7 p.m. also here in the ticket. New York Post reporting that former Red Wing great Steve Eisman is open to discussing the Rangers team president position. And, of course, tonight, the Final Four. Minneapolis Game 1, Auburn against Virginia. Auburn about a 6-point underdog. MSU about a 2-point favorite against Texas Tech. That game scheduled to start at 8:49 p.m. I have the Ticket Update Desk. I'm Jeff Lesson. For more, 971theticket.com.
The following is a paid program. The views expressed on this program are not necessarily those of Entercom Communications, its sponsors, or affiliates.
Good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm your host, Harvey Fried. Alongside of me, Harry Glanz.
Harvey, you even sound better wearing these brand new headphones.
Yeah, these make you sound better. I don't know, something's
really
making me sound good.
Well, good morning, my man. Go green.
Hey, how about that, Harry? April 6, 2019. We got a big game tonight, and of course, before all of that takes place, we got 1 hour of the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, again, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding, where you can give us a call at 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. And of course, we take your calls here live in the studio, 248-539-9797. Some great guests today. Evan Partridge. Hey, Evan, how's it going?
Very good. Thanks for having me today.
You're going to be great, Ev. Keller Williams over there on Washington in downtown Royal Oak, the Metro Realty office of Keller Williams. You guys only have a couple, 1,000 agents over there now. I was getting steamrolled over there when I was in the lobby.
Just a few. It's a great place to work.
Good. A lot of action over there. You got it's really fun. You go in these new real estate offices, and they've got it looks like a diner or something's going on. You got the bar in the back.
Culture, man.
You got to have the coffee bar in there, right?
The coffee bar.
The coffee or the espresso machines. You got all that going on. You guys are right in downtown Royal Oak.
Absolutely.
It's great.
Good stuff.
It's in Washington.
And, of course, we piggyback with Matt DeLumba from Target Home Inspections. Matt, to have a home inspector in here, it's awesome. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me here today, Harvey. I appreciate it.
Fantastic. Of course, you're from my neck of the woods. You're from way out there in the Highland area. We're M59ers, right? We can call that for sure. So we're out there in a little bit of the just north of what's going on over here.
So everybody out there, we're so excited to have a home inspector on our show along with a realtor. I mean, I might have to separate these guys. I don't know.
No, it's going to be
anybody
peaceful.
out there, you got to call in with your home inspection questions. I mean, the reasons why to get one. If you really think you don't need one, we think you're making a mistake. But here's a chance to ask a realtor and ask a home inspector. We got them both sitting in the same room. They're cordial right now. We want to keep it that way.
No, it'll be a good one.
And you gotta ask the inspector things. You gotta talk about the basements, the cracks in the foundation. Can they be repaired? Should you buy that house? And Harvey, we talk about it all the time. You can't waive an inspection. I'm telling you, call us up. You gotta get the answer from the pros.
Yeah,
why take a mortgage guy's word for it? You got a realtor and you got an inspector in the same room.
Real people here. Hey, Matt, just reading even last night, and you guys know it. The average amount of cost of repairs when a home inspector goes in a house is $11,000. There's studies been done and I know that if you inspected my house today, I would be over that amount. So there's no doubt that this is something really intense. But when people are overbidding on houses, Evan, and I think that's the conversation this morning, they lose that focus. They say, hey, you know what? I don't care if it needs a brand new furnace and a brand. I've got them. If you've got the money, then fine. It doesn't matter. Overpay for the house, and whatever goes, goes.
Right. I mean, it does happen, but you don't want to waive that inspection. This guy sitting right next to me, he's your best friend. When it comes to buying a house, you need to do that inspection, even if it's just peace of mind. If you walk in and you think the house is gorgeous, there could be something that you don't see up in the attic space or something like that. So you always want to do an inspection.
Yeah, water's our enemy. There's no doubt about that, Matt. It just finds its way in. It's it's like eating fat gets in your blood and you get high cholesterol. Well, water gets in your house and it's a big, big problem. It can cause all sorts of problems.
Absolutely, and it's not only the water that can get in your house, it's the water in your house that's trying to get out of your house too. So a lot of people don't understand. You have a humidifier on your furnace. It produces a lot of moisture in the wintertime. The average home will evaporate 12 to 15 gallons of water every winter, so that water has some place to go. And if you have a poorly ventilated attic, that's where problems start up in an attic.
So, Matt, is it safe to say every time you inspect a house, there either will be or has been or currently there is water there?
Not every time, but I think there, in most cases, we're in Michigan. We have basements. Some people say it's not a matter of if, or not a matter of never, but a matter of if your basement's going to get water in it. And there's numerous things that you can do to combat the water issues. Changing the grade outside, making sure your gutter downspouts are running away from the house. I always say if you want water in your basement, promote the water to come back to the house, and it will find its way into the basement.
Oh boy!
Yeah, as they say, water seeks its own level.
Yes.
Right. So Evan, my next question would be this: so when you're listing a house, and the ever popular seller's disclosure, right? So what do you tell somebody when they say to you, I've had water in there. I had a sump pump backup, but we did have a leak. We did have to regrade our landscape, our soil away from the house, like he just said. What do you tell them to put on the seller's disclosure?
Be honest.
Be honest.
Be honest. I mean, that's what it is. It's a seller's disclosure. If you're not honest, it can come back and bite you when you sell the house.
Right. So water doesn't kill a deal. If there was water in there 2, 3, 4 years ago, like 5 years ago, when all of Huntington Woods and Berkeley and Oak Park flooded. Okay, there's nothing wrong with putting on a seller's disclosure. Hey, do you remember the flood back then? Yes, we had water, but it was taken care of.
Right.
I mean, I think people understand that, don't they?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it happens. It's a disclosure. That's what you're doing. You're disclosing any problems. So if you had water in the basement, you repaired it, you have a paid invoice, no problem since.
And a lot of these companies will actually go ahead and use that. They'll give you a warranty, and those warranties are transferable to the next homeowner. So, again, depending upon which company you're working with. 248-539-9797. The purchase market obviously is going to be booming. We're off to a great start already.
Really
spring of 2019 kicks in. What's different about today's market than last year's market or the market before? Because it's starting to seem sort of similar. Could you talk a little bit about the inventory out there and what might be a little bit different in 2019?
Well, inventory is still low. So it's still a great time to get your house on the market, best time of year right now. But I think, in certain areas, we're starting to see a little bit of a leveling off. There's still some real hot markets, the Royal Oak, the Ferndale, the Birmingham, all that. But, we're starting to see a little bit of a leveling off. And you got to really focus on pricing when you're putting your home on the market now.
Right, we can't leave out Berkeley because my guys in Berkeley will kill me. Berkeley's a hot market right now.
Gangbusters there.
Got a great place coming on the market next week in Berkeley.
There you go. And so, we talked about it a little bit off the air, and we talked about, the beginning of the year, the end of last year, the beginning of this year might have, Harvey, was a little bit slower than we thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you, it kicked up. I mean, it kicked up in a big way.
Oh, we're on fire right now.
Again, multiple offers. You have to get your ducks in a row. You have to have that pre-approval letter in hand. All right, there is no realtor going to show a house, okay, accept an offer without a pre-approval letter. It's not going to happen.
Waste of time.
248-539-9797. We hope you join us here. We got 1 hour of the Hardcore Mortgage Show. Again, we talk about mortgages, real estate, business, of course, home inspections today. We throw that into the mix. Always everything about it. And then we got sports all the rest of the day here. Pat Caputo will be joining us. And again, I know the vibe's really positive here in town as we hope that the Spartans can pull off the ups. Well, it's not an upset tonight.
Yeah, I'd like
just
to
pull it off. How about just pull it off?
They play better when they're the underdog.
There you go.
Okay, they're the favorite. They're like a 2-point favorite tonight. I don't know if my heart could take it. It's going to be that close of a game.
It's going to be a good game.
Well, it's a lot of fun to own a house, and of course, the pride of home ownership. And you can invite people over to your home. And we always talk about how home ownership may not be for everybody, but it is. The younger generation is definitely looking into it now. They're getting out of mom and dad's basements. They're out there on their own, and there's these opportunities out there. Some of them are really wanting to know the next step in the process. Other ones, I mean, everyone's got a little different perspective on it, but having some knowledge behind you and understanding your approval and your offer is really key to it. And now we started talking last night about how important that purchase agreement is. Now, again, we kid you guys a lot. Mortgage people kid the real estate agents because there's a lot of blanks on there. Well, there's not that many. There's 7 to 10 blanks on there. But what's filled in those blanks, and more importantly, under the additional comments, is really important stuff. And I know that we were sort of kidding each other, but a lot of times these purchase agreements aren't written up properly.
That's why you need a good agent.
Okay.
I mean, anybody can take a purchase agreement and just throw it together and put an offer together, but you want somebody who's looking after your best interests. So those blanks are very important. Earnest money, very important. Inspection, very important. The time frames. You want to put your best offer out there when there's multiple offers. You've got to have everything checked where, you're putting your best foot forward.
Yeah, the dates. I mean, everybody, we're not attorneys. We don't play them on the radio, but that is a legal document. You put dates on there. There's expectations. There's deadlines. There's time frames for contingencies to be removed, like an inspection. You have 7 to 10 days to get an inspection. You guys like the 3 to 5 day mark, but there's, whatever the number of days you put in there for an inspection, and then the contingency gets waived after the inspection when you agree upon if the inspection came out to the liking.
Right.
There are other dates. We'll get back into it, Harvey, but that is a legal document, and there are dates that need to be hit.
All right, we're going to get some tough questions answered here. Overbidding on these houses. What happens when the appraisal comes in at the real purchase price, at the purchase price it should have been? Maybe you offered $10,000, $15,000 more. We'll come back, answer all those questions and a whole lot more. 248-539-9797. All right, welcome back to the show. 9:17 if you're just joining us. Yeah, those clouds and rain out there sort of putting a damper on the weekend. But don't worry, spring's around the corner. Got a little taste of it this week, which means home buying season. That's right. Call Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE. Get a strong approval letter. Put your program together and put your whole process together. Put your team together.
So, Harv, before we went to the break, we were talking about what rates are going to do, toxic debt versus non-toxic debt. You don't want to use your house as a piggy bank. Rates are low. What do you do? What do you do? So we've got two guys here. We've got an accountant and a financial planner. And for years, gentlemen, we've said that if you run up your credit cards and you don't plan on running them up again, that's the key, right? You don't want to run them up again. You should go ahead and trade in that 18 to 22% revolving credit card debt for 4 to 5% mortgage credit or mortgage interest rate and roll that debt into your mortgage. Guys, this is the magic question. What do you think about that? I don't care who takes the question first. Everybody out there is listening. They want to know, is that a good idea? Now, the caveat is you can't run up the debt again. But if you pay it off with the lower interest rate number, is it better than keeping that credit card debt out there?
Yeah, go ahead. The one thing that you are when you're doing that is you are trading non-deductible interest for deductible interest. So, I mean, there's a few pennies tax savings.
Let's talk about that. The new rules came out for 2018, the new tax code with the new administration. And let's clarify the area. I actually had a ticket text last week. And if you want to ticket text us, we would rather get a phone call from you. That way we can communicate and answer some questions at 97136. But I had a ticket text and it said, what are you talking about? They changed that. But you and I cleared the air on that. It's a tax deduction. So in a different way, though. Explain that a little bit.
The itemized deductions as they exist are still in effect. By the way, because most of the people that come to me are high-income earners, they're still itemizing their returns. The standard deduction was raised. There are more people that are using the standard deduction as opposed to the itemized deductions, and if they're not getting the benefit of that, it's because they're below the limit.
And that limit is what?
$24,000 for a married couple, $12,000 for single.
People are using the standard. They're doing the deductions, though.
Yeah.
They're coming in with a laundry list. They're bringing the 1098 statements and saying, get me some money back.
I tell people to go through, add up all the deductions. You don't know if you're going to be able to itemize or not. Don't presume that you can't.
Okay. That's good stuff. Sit down with your CPA sooner than later and clean that box. Get that box organized. Go get some paper clips, some staples.
Exactly.
Go see your CPA a little bit more organized than last year. That's always good stuff. 248-539-9797. We're going to take your calls all morning long here as we continue the conversation about potentially using the equity in your house. I mean, it's been tremendous opportunities here. Again, things really stunk here from 2007 to about 2010. The economy tanked. We know it. We all lost a lot of job loss here in Southeast Michigan. If you were in the automotive industry, we needed a government bailout. All those things are well behind us now. And hey, it's just a matter of timing in life. You might have bought a house in the last 5 to 8 years, and Sam, they have so much equity in the house. Again, whether you're refinancing the house to alleviate get rid of the mortgage insurance, drop your rate, drop your years, taking some equity out of your house to do those home improvement projects or pay off those credit cards is just dynamite. The savings are dramatic, and some families say, "Well, here I am. My mortgage balance is going up."
Yes,
the savings are usually so dramatic, $300 to $500 a month, that if you wish, once you get all back on your feet, go ahead and pay down your mortgage. There's no prepayment penalty on a mortgage.
So, Harvey and everybody, people are going to make the same mistakes they made 2 years ago. Now, rates are the lowest they've been in over 467 days or something like that. So you just do the numbers. Doesn't matter. They're lower than they were in the last year and a half.
About 14 months plus.
Okay, so what's going to happen is that people are going to sit there and go, well, I'm going to wait for them to go down more. All right, listen, I'm going to tell you. You might have heard.
Today, and listen to us anytime, anywhere. 97.1 The Ticket.
All right, welcome back to the show, 916. If you're just joining us, it's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. Again, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. You'll find us at 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Always here live in the studio, 248-539-9797. Looking forward to some of your calls. Got some great guys in here. Evan Parcher has been around real estate a long time. Evan, your Keller Williams guy at the Metro Realty with Mark Warren and his team. And, yeah, that's 50 years of experience right there.
Well, because Mark's 85 years old. That's why.
At least he is. Harry, I was going to start picking on him, but if you want to start this,
he's going to laugh because I saw him 2 weeks ago on a Saturday night, and he was sitting a couple rows behind me, and we just waved each other. I've known Mark for a long time, and Mark, he's 85. I'm way younger than him.
Let's go to some of our calls out here. 248-539-9797. If you want to join us, hey, Greg, we'll start you off here. Greg out in West Bloomfield. There you are. Hey, Greg, good morning. Welcome to our show.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hey, I've got a question for Evan.
Yes, sir.
What do you do with a buyer when they're looking at a home and it has an old furnace and an old hot water heater, and they're saying that they want them replaced before they'll purchase the home? What do you tell them?
Offer them a home warranty. 1 year home warranty. That could be peace of mind for them.
Okay.
Plus, it covers other functionalities of the home, some of the other stuff.
Mechanicals, appliances, plumbing, electrical, that type of thing.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Well, hold on one second. Wait. I want to expand on that. I got a couple questions. So, is this the original furnace with the house?
Yes, it's one that's outdated. It's
okay.
Not high efficiency.
No, I understand that, but people have to understand. I'm just going to try to bring the common sense in here. If they're looking at your house and your house is X amount of years old, and they like the house and they know how old the house is, and they just know that the furnace is that old, they're just trying to put it back on you to see how much more you're going to give in on the sale of the house.
Right.
Yep.
So, okay, fine. If I'm looking at an old car, I know it has an old engine in it.
Right.
All right, so common sense tells me, but I can't blame them for trying to negotiate.
Oh, no, I understand that.
Right? So I think Evan just gave you a great solution.
If you see the service records and everything for all that, I wouldn't think it would be a large issue.
Right.
But they're demanding that it be replaced.
Greg, is this currently happening to you right now, or are you thinking ahead for selling your home?
No, just thinking ahead on different stuff, that's all.
Yeah, I mean, you're selling a used home. Just like you said, it could be like a used car.
Right.
Everything is not going to be brand new. So show them the service records. The furnace is working correctly now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to do an inspection. And
so Matt, the inspector's here. You ready? So
Matt, what do you want to say about this?
The inspector guy's going to go there.
Hey, Greg, thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Greg, one thing that I'm thinking about when you made a comment of that you do service on it, a good idea maybe to leave all of the service records on the counter in the kitchen when the inspection comes time. That way you're showing that you've done your due diligence and you've taken care of your equipment, and it has a better presentation to the prospective buyers when they come in to do their inspection. And any good inspector will identify and notice that, even if the furnace is a little bit older.
Hey, Matt, how about this? Isn't it true, and I'm just throwing it out there, like some of the things that were built a long time ago are better quality than the new stuff? Isn't it possible that a 20-year-old furnace has better possibility than maybe a 6 or 7 year old one. You don't know when they built them or when. I don't want to throw any of the the manufacturers under the bus, but let's just use Carrier. I don't know too many of them or whatever the company might be. But isn't there a possibility that they started changing their manufacturing down to Mexico, and when it was built in the United States, it was a better. I'm just throwing it out there.
Absolutely.
You hear these kind of things.
Absolutely, and also how much diligence the homeowner has done taking care of their equipment. I've seen a 5-year-old furnace before where the filter's never been changed.
Right.
And you've got the blower motor that's all caked with dust, and the furnace filter's pinched in and is black. And then you have a 30-year-old furnace that looks like it was just installed 5 years ago because the homeowner has an HVAC technician out there every season to clean the furnace, to maintain it.
So great.
Yeah, you got that service warranty from Sun Heating and Cooling, man. You know.
If you say so, Harry. 248. You're going to drop everyone. 248-539-9790. So, Evan, we'll talk about the negotiations on that a little bit, too. Let's go out to Carl here in Novi. Good morning, Carl. You got a question about mortgages. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, thanks a lot for taking my call, guys.
Well, thanks for calling.
I got a question. We're thinking about buying an investment property, a condo down in Florida or down in Tennessee for a golfing community that we probably would lease out some of the time, and then we would use it some of the time. My question is my home here in Novi, I'd like to take that down to a 15-year, and can I put the two mortgages together at that time, or it's got to be two separate mortgages?
Yeah, there'll be two separate mortgages. One will be you can buy it as an investment property or a second home. My suggestion will be that you'll enter the purchase on the vacation home, the one on the golf course. You'll just purchase it as a second home, which allows you to go 10% down. And then again, whatever your choices are in regards to renting it out in the future, turning it into an income property, you can do that. Right. But these blanket mortgages aren't out there, and you don't want to tie these two different entities up in one mortgage. You just don't want to do that.
And in your golf course community, do they allow you to lease it out, or do you have to wait a year before you can lease it out? Sometimes there's some restrictions on that.
No, you can lease it out immediately.
Good.
By weekend, by week. Golfers come in from out of town and they'd be leasing it out, and then I would just block the weekends that I'd like to go down there and use it.
I like it. Great. Sounds great.
Sounds like a lot of fun. It's not too far of a drive for you to get down there to Tennessee.
Right.
Are you playing today?
I am going to play today.
My man.
I played yesterday. I'm going to play today.
That's good. I like it.
Hey, Carl, we'll give you a call and run some numbers by you. We'd love to refinance your house and definitely handle your mortgage down there if you want to deal with some local lenders. We'll reach out to you and see if we can make you some great offers. Thanks for the call.
Great. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us. 248-539-9797. Always like to hear from you if you have anything to go. Matt, do you want to dig into that a little bit more on some of the things that will come up? And he threw in the other call, came up with a hot water heater. I mean, this is standard. And anybody, I had a girl in the office yesterday. She's going to be a first-time home buyer. We talked about home inspections a little bit in the conversation and a little bit about the process of moving forward. But, yeah, in her price range, any of the houses she finds, it's probably going to have maybe 3 years of life left on the roof. Talk to me a little bit about that, actually, about functionality of a home and what you really have to look for.
And it's a stressful time for a buyer and a seller during this period, and I think it's a good idea, and sellers don't do this as often as they should. You don't necessarily have to go hire an inspector. I'm not going to not champion my service, but have somebody come out and take a look at your house before you put it on the market, because it might stop the process. A bad inspection is going to stop the process somewhere along the way. And you doing this is going to prevent that stop in that process. And it might make the transaction flow a lot smoother. Something that could be identified before we get to the inspection, where the homeowner can go out, hire his professional to fix that problem. And then when it comes time for the buyer's inspection, there's nothing to identify at that point.
Yeah, I mean, it could be the small stuff that adds up a lot. And like we see so often, Evan, on negotiations, after the inspection, they want to come back. And we talked about it. Actually, the article that I read last night said there was at least 20 different items that will come up on a home inspection, totaling at least on the average $11,000 worth of repairs. So the inspection's done, and now the buyer, if you can have a few of these things handled ahead of time. So the entrance of the door, you don't want to have peeling paint in your house, right. Whether it be a conventional loan or an FHA loan. Peeling paint means there's exposed wood, and that's going to rot.
Literally just had the problem a few weeks back on a home we were selling in West Bloomfield. Peeling paint, it's the middle of winter, or the end of winter.
Yeah.
We're having to combat that so the person could get their FHA mortgage it's snowing outside and that type of thing. We did get it handled. Actually did an escrow.
Yeah, you escrow.
Yeah, that's fine. You can escrow for that.
Escrow for weather-related items. When the time comes, you scrape and paint it, and you do it, and it's done. And then you get the escrow gets released. But my questions are this, and when you guys, and this is a perfect opportunity with a realtor, again, and a home inspector in the same room. So you've got the big items when the inspector goes in, right? You've got the foundation, you've got the roof, you got the windows, you got the furnace, sometimes the hot water tank, right? You've got, it's tough to see. You got to get in the attic. Maybe there's some mold in there. Maybe there's some bats in there. You never know what's going on. What are the other items, the major items that you guys on the real estate end and on the inspection end are looking for, and that really gives you cause to pause, cause for concern?
Well, I think you named them all. I mean, the big ticket items, the roof, the foundation, the windows.
God, I hate the music's playing in the middle of that question.
But it's always those things. It's those items that we really have to dig into and just make sure you have a peace of mind and understand how many dollars you're working with.
There are a lot of people out there that are teetering. Well, what if there's a crack in the foundation? Do I buy the house or not? That doesn't mean it's the end of the deal.
Well, when we come back here, let's talk about that and a whole lot more. 248-539-9797. Keep it here.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Dan Burke for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Grosse Ile, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Welcome back to the show, 9:30, if you just joined us. Of course, the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show in our 19th year here at 97.1 The Ticket. Taking all your calls, 248-539-9797. Definitely want to hear from you. Hey, call Capital Mortgage. We've got a full staff all weekend long. Get that strong approval letter. Sit down with real mortgage professionals. Hey, I got appointments later today. I got them tomorrow. This time of year is when it rocks. And, Sam, you got to have your ducks in a row. You definitely have to have that strong approval letter, the plan, understanding all the different mortgage options that you might have. The competitive bids are out there. We've had nonstop real estate agents. We had about a run here where we had agents on the show every weekend, and they're coming back again next week. And so I think we're going to have a home inspector on along with some real estate agent conversation. This is what's going on right now in the housing market, Harry. These home inspections are coming up with some things because we live in Michigan. Boy, oh boy, our septic fields are all old, and so are our sewer lines.
Yeah, the properties are getting, there's going to be more and more little things wrong. Now, so we have to go ahead and we have to decide, are these little things worth killing a deal or not? I say no, but you have to get the list of items. You have to look at the seller's disclosure. You have to make sure that they've listed those things. You send out your inspector. It's up to the buyer to hire an inspector. I'm not big on waiving an inspection. Anybody who's listening to the show knows I do not like to waive inspections. So you have your inspector go out there. They go through the list. They go through the house with you, and they tell you everything that could happen. Big things, right? Furnaces, roofs, foundations. All right, those are all
heating, cooling, the electrical systems,
right, all of those things, plumbing. You have to take a look at those things, then you have to decide, what are the costs of these items to get fixed? And once again, you sit down, you have a plan, you have to do your math. Now, most basements in Michigan have they have water, they have dampness, they've had a sump pump that didn't work, that went off, that didn't go off. But you have to check out all these things, and then you have to decide, is this worth buying the house or not buying the house? In most cases, these are fixable items. In some cases, cracked foundations, you have to get the jacks in there. There's all these kind of things. But the inspector will let you know.
Yeah, win-win situations on always. You feel comfortable when you're signing at the closing table. So get those proper inspections. And one of the things we talked about here is these smaller things. So I love the idea that, and all the inspectors are willing to have you walk through. So here, you hire a home inspection. Don't go to work. You have to go to that home inspection. Not only will they show you things about the house, they'll show you the functionality of things. So they'll show you where that main water switch is, where to shut off the water if that ever becomes an issue. But they'll show you different things about the furnace and the electrical panel and interesting information that really pertains to your house. Also, the venting in the house and the basements and how humidifiers work and when to turn them off and down. So there's many things to know when you're purchasing a house on the mortgage side and definitely on the real estate side. There's no a happy button to hit, Harry. That's the one that really irks me. I received from my own cousin, who's in his 20s, and he's a smart guy. He had to call me 25, 30 times. I told him to call me more. So if he needs these questions answered, doesn't everyone else?
And you have to check everything else. You have to turn on the appliances to make sure they work. How about flushing the toilets? How about turning on the water? How about going in and opening that oven and making sure it's not all rusted out? Okay, you've heard that story, Harvey?
Oh, yeah.
It's true. Dishwashers hooked up, aren't they? Are they not hooked up? Are they functional? All right, come on. I mean, this is all part of buying a house. And sometimes even, I know the inspecting world doesn't want to hear about it, but sometimes they miss things.
Yes, they do.
But, you have to take a look at things. I mean, just buying a house isn't just saying, I like it, all right, let's move in. You got to check these things out.
All right, let's sort of circle back here to our guest. We got Jim Williams in, a certified financial planner. It's been around a very long time, since the early 80s, and really fun to talk to. Jim, of course, one of the things we...
This is 97.1 The Ticket.
Brought to you by Buff Whalen Chevrolet. Pistons falling on the road at Oklahoma City, 123-110. Blake Griffin finishing with 45 with just 1 point in the fourth quarter. Miami also lost. Miami still a game behind the Pistons with 3 games to go. Pistons' magic number is 2. Tiger baseball today right here on 97.1 The Ticket at Comerica Park. Tigers hosting KC. First pitch at 1:10. Matt Moore on the mound. Wings end their season tonight at home against Buffalo. Also here on The Ticket, just after 7 p.m. will be the puck drop. New York Post reporting that former Red Wing star Steve Eisman is open to discussing the Rangers' opening job of team president. Final 4 tonight. Auburn against Virginia in Game 1. MSU and Texas Tech scheduled to begin at about 8:49 p.m. At the Ticket Update Desk, I'm Jeff Lesson. For more, 97.1theticket.com.
The Detroit Pistons host the Charlotte Hornets. Pre-game tomorrow afternoon at 3:35 on 97.1 The Ticket.
All right, welcome back to the show, 931. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. Find us at 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Definitely get that strong approval letter. That's the key. Get prepared, get organized, understand the process and procedures. There's a lot of questions to ask, as you can see as we go through our show today. Of course, we brought in Evan Partridge from Keller Williams in Royal Oak, and we've got Matt DeLumba from Target Home Inspections, Matt's Place. Tons of information to share with you. 248-539-9797. If you would like to join us, I want to throw a couple things out to handle some business. Again, Harry, there was a break in interest rates over the last 2 weeks. But when your lender calls you, I want to advise everyone to make sure you act quickly. There's a lot of opportunities out there that come and go, but they go quickly. It's just like the stock market. These mortgage rates, Harry, as you know, they drop down. It was an opportunity, and you got to lock in your rate. You got to get your documentation to your lender and make sure you move forward.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, if somebody quoted you on a Friday, you didn't get the same rate on the following Tuesday. We talked about that. It's a commodity. Rates go up and down. They go up intraday, down intraday. You've got to lock in that rate and lock it in on a refinance transaction. That's what we tell our clients, and that's what we do. So it's just something that you have to do. Now, let's get back to some real business. I want to talk about the home inspection because I'm pretty fired up about it. And I can tell Matt is a very thorough guy. He goes in there. He's going to do the report. He's got his checklist. He's going to show you everything that goes on with that house. We talk about foundations. Foundations around here, because we have basements, and we love to live in our basement. Okay, we do. So if somebody goes in there, and there's a difference between a real foundation issue and just a surface crack or a settlement crack in a foundation. I bought a house 25 years ago, going on 26. I see the inspector the other day. He said, "You still live in a house with a cracked foundation?" It didn't have a crack. It had a settlement crack. We filled it. I've been in the house 26 years. Never a problem. So go ahead and tell people that when they walk down into a basement, whether it's a block basement and they see the cracks, or it's a poured cement basement and they see cracks, let everybody know the difference between a crack and a problem.
Well, in a poured foundation wall, you're going to get some vertical cracking, and it usually happens right from the onset. So, for example, when a foundation company takes the forms away from the foundation wall and they cut the beam pocket in to set the I-beam, if they cut that concrete too quick, the stress from the cutting the concrete is going to cause a 1-2 millimeter crack in the foundation wall. That's not a structural problem. The only thing the crack will do is it'll allow water to come through it if you're promoting water around the outside of the house. And there's some simple remedies to fixing that problem by having a company come out and inject resin in the crack to fill the crack up so water cannot come through the crack.
And that's what we did.
making sure the grade on the outside of the house is correct. When you're building a new construction home, the one thing that the builder does not do is they don't tamp the grade down. They do a final grade, but what's going to happen over the next 6 months to 12 months is the grade is going to settle on you. If you've ever gone into a new sub and you've seen your neighbor watering dirt and you laugh at him, you probably should check yourself, because what he is doing is he is settling the grade down and doing it quicker. You know, you have so many of these homeowners, they're impatient. They go out there, they want to put that patio paver on, they want to put that deck on, but you've got to make sure the grade is settled and add more dirt after the fact.
You hear that a lot of new construction, maybe waiting a year before you did your hardscape or some of these type of things. And yeah, grade is so important. And like you said, you'll go back to a subdivision 2 years later and you'll see the dirt line, and it's about 6 inches higher than where the actual soil is.
Same thing with paint inside the house, too. You don't want to paint that home right away. You know, let it settle.
Let things settle down a little bit.
You know,
okay.
Fix some nail pops, this and that.
So we address the foundation issues, right? We're going to address those, and you can tell everybody out there that, listen, Evan and Matt know what they're talking about. All right, it doesn't.
Absolutely.
They know what they're talking about, and that's why we have them on the show, because we want to give you the best information possible. So then we go to the roof. We go to attics and roofs, and what do we talk about in attics and roofs?
We talk about ventilation in attics and insulation in attics. So important. They go hand in hand, too. You got to remember, heat rises. If you have a poorly ventilated attic, your heat is going to trap in your attic. Ideally, your attic should be no more than 10 degrees difference from the outside temperature. So if on a 90-degree day in the summertime, your attic's 130 degrees, that's a clear sign of a heat problem and a ventilation problem in your attic, where you either don't have the right balance of intake and exhaust airflow. A lot of people think a ridge vent just a lot of people think a ridge vent just magically solves problems, and it doesn't. You have to have the right balance of airflow. So intake coming in from the soffits, or even doing a system, what's called an edge vent, that allows air to flow into the attic at the lower end of the roof so the heat can be pushed out through the ridge vent.
I didn't know that's pretty close. 10 degrees is pretty close, because anyone who's listening is saying, hey, in the summertime, I'm not going in that attic. It's 120 plus.
Right. Make sure that insulation isn't covering up the soffit vents as well.
Correct. Good point, Evan. Baffles in between each rafter or truss when you have soffits, so it allows the air to move in through the attic. A lot of people add insulation in the attic. They don't put the baffle there, and the insulation stops the air from coming in through the soffit vents.
You mean you don't just hit a button, guys, and buy a house? Really? Okay, we'll get to that later.
Just go, hey,
there's a lot to this.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's go to Dan out there in Burton. Dan, good morning and welcome to our show. You've got a question. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, thank you. I was trying to decide whether to add on to my home in a couple of years or just, sell and buy new. The problem with a lot of the homes around here near Flint is they're all underwater. And I would already be putting probably $20,000 down already just to get to the market value of the home. Because I've read where it's only costs about $100,000 just to add on onto your home as it is. So I was just trying to get some input on that as to what would be more financially wise to do.
Well, what are you adding on?
Well, I was thinking of adding, I've got one bathroom. I was thinking of adding on to the bathroom, making it bigger, and adding another room, enlarging a room, and then possibly putting on a garage as well.
And somebody told you that might be $100,000?
Well, I've read, depending where some of adding on to the homes, it's, I've heard people.
Yeah. Hey, I wouldn't be. You never know. If you're going to build a garage, you might get some crazy quote. What about this idea that here's somebody he's contemplating it? He's like, do I add on or
Well, it's a great question, and it's a tough question to answer here without seeing the house and really doing a study on the neighborhood and that type of thing. It could make sense. This is your home. You're doing this renovation to live in. But I'd love to be able to see the house and give you an answer that way. You don't want to add on and go, where you're putting so much money into the home where you're building outside of the neighborhood,
right?
Price wise.
Isn't it's kind of a simple math equation. Okay, it goes like this for the math guys. It's like, first of all, how much is it going to cost you? How long are you going to be in the house? What's the current market value of your home, and then what can you project the future value is going to be with a simple calculation of a 2 to 3% maybe appreciation on an annual basis. And then you say to yourself, if I'm going to be in the house for a long time and I'm doing this for a quality of life issue, if it costs me $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, what's your threshold to determine, if I'm going to stay here for a long period of time, that I can enjoy the new project? So, like Evan said, we'd like to know more about the property, the market value, how much, if you consulted a builder or home improvement specialist, how much it's going to cost. You're adding a bathroom, which, guys, we know that's a good thing.
All day.
When you add a bathroom. You add a garage, it's kind of not the same thing as adding a kitchen or a bathroom.
Garage is pretty important, though.
Yeah, it is.
Especially
if you have a car.
Yeah, you're right. And it is Michigan. It
Come on,
snows.
Matt. That was funny, Matt.
That was funny.
Thank you. Yeah.
Is it a one car or two car?
I probably one car, but it's right outside of Flint. The homes on my street, most in my area, they were probably worth $60,000. I paid $101,000 19 years ago for the home. It's a 3-bedroom, 1 bath, one in the bedroom, 2 bedrooms upstairs. I'm getting older. I really don't want to. Well, I'm looking at the future when I might not be able to go up the stairs any longer. If I was to do this would be the house I would stay in.
Okay.
I'm just thinking I've got them on a crawl space. I'd have to extend the foundation
Hey,
more,
Dan.
I'm sure.
Dan, it's exciting stuff. We're going to follow up with you after the show here, definitely, and we'll run some comparables. I think if you get in the car with a real estate agent, see what's going on around town, what they're selling for, if there's something out there that might be better than your existing house. There's lots to know out there, but hiring some professionals would definitely help. 248-539-9797. We'll be right back.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Danberg for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Grosse Ile, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Alrighty, welcome back to the show, 945. It's a Hardcore Mortgage Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I actually call it the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate and Business Show because today we're covering a little bit of business as we got a CPA in, Donald Straughn, and lots of questions to answer out there, and a certified financial planner. We brought in Jim Williams, so a lot of fun if you have any questions like this. And we're going to go to our call here. We got in from Livonia. Bill's asking a question about potentially interested in refinancing something somewhere. Bill, what's your question?
Yeah, hi, good morning. I just bought a home 2 years ago at 4.25%, and I'm getting a lot of offers lately at a lower interest rate, and I'm just wondering, should I do this, and what should I look out for? I don't know a lot about this.
Yeah, Bill, when you say you're getting a lot of offers, are these coming in the form of email, calls? Are you getting solicited? Are they from people you know, the people you don't know? I mean, tell me a little bit about that. And then second part of the question is, when they're saying they're offering very low, are they offering with costs, with points? I mean, give me the range, because there's a lot of bad information out there. It always happens, all right? In our industry, the behavior can be crazy that if you're not dealing with somebody that you know and you trust, you're going to get so many phone calls and so many email telling you some bad things. I just want to know what they're talking about.
No, I don't know these people, and I'm getting low offers like 2 and
Yeah, no.
5%.
Nope. Go ahead.
Yeah, Bill, what we keep seeing is, there's no doubt rates are low. You have a great interest rate. Let's clear the air. Is that a 30-year mortgage you have at 4.25%?
Yes.
It's nice. It's very good.
It's really good.
It's very good. Now, let me tell you why you're getting. There's always a why behind everything that's going on. People are pulling mortgage records right now at the county, and they're compiling lists or they're buying lists, and they're gathering the data because rates are right now the lowest they've been in a couple years. I said over a year and a half, in that range. So they're going ahead, and they're
97.1 The Ticket's 50th and Leach broadcast live starting at 4:30 from Little Caesars Arena ahead of the Red Wings Sabres game today. Brought to you by Michigan Lottery's triple winning sevens $2 instant game. Win up to 12 times, there's fun in every one. Today, 11 a.m. till 1, 97.1 The Ticket's street team will be at Hockeytown Cafe in Detroit. You could win tickets to see the Detroit Tigers and get Pitchers Pub passes, too. Stop by for all the specials and fun. Get more at 971theticket.com.
Now available for download. Always Aggravated. A Mike Valenti signature podcast. Get it on radio.com and Apple iTunes. 97.1 The Ticket.
All right, welcome back to the show, 9:45. It's flying like always, 248-539-9797. We always give you some great information about buying, selling a house. A little bit more today. Got Home Inspector Matt DeLimben from Target Home Inspection. Of course, Evan Partridge from Keller Williams Metro Realty.
These guys know what they're talking about.
Yeah, it's great to have you guys.
Love it.
You know, great conversation off the air, on the air. That's why having the pros in here, it makes such a difference. And I always ask you the question when I see you, even the real estate agents that are the top-notch agents, they chuckle at the ones that don't know what they're doing. They're in our way almost of really helping some families make some great transactions happen.
Well, unfortunately, there are a lot of people out there in any profession that really don't know what they're doing.
Good save, my man.
I'll get you out of this one.
Get me. I thought that was a good save.
I'll just get you out of this one. All right. So the home inspection process is so important, but what's more important is that you have people that can break down the real estate transaction, break down the mortgage transaction, have the inspector on your side, and that's what it's all about. But, see, we have to disseminate the accurate information versus the inaccurate information. I should say it the other way around, the inaccurate information versus accurate. Just because somebody says something, and, hey, you can fact check us. I've got no problem with it.
Okay.
Just because somebody tells you something doesn't make it true. Just because somebody posts something doesn't make it true. I'm tired of all that. I'm just telling you, you got to get in the room and you got to talk to people that know what they're doing. That's just the way it is.
I'll throw it out there. 248-539-9797. Let's go off to some questions. So we got a buying question from Joe on a cell phone. Hey, Joe, good morning. Welcome to our show. We're about to plug you in here. There you go.
Good morning.
Hey, Joe.
Morning, Joe.
Joe, how you doing?
Hi. Good. How are you guys?
Great. Thank you very much.
Question I had was bought a house about 4 years ago for pennies on a dollar. And it's about 1,000 square foot. And family got bigger, and we're looking at possibly going up a level, and then, or debating on, selling, get the profit from the house, then,
Joe, sort of like our last call is, always, do I stay where I'm at and do the home improvements and add money? And like we were talking about it really, you got to get out there and see what the neighborhood's selling for.
You've got to. Joe, is this your first home that you're living in?
It's the second one. I bought it for $89,000, and then the market around the neighborhood is selling for the same house. Right as is right now is selling for $175,000.
Wow!
Good move.
You did well.
So if I put another level on, I'm looking at possibly getting $250,000 for it if I were to sell it, or we're planning on, if we do put another level on, we'll plan on living it for.
Yeah, if you put the other level on, you're not selling it right away. That would be kind of silly, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's do this. Why don't we get your name and phone number? I'll call you after the show. And we'll figure this out for you.
Yeah, you go out there. There's no obligation at all, Joe. We'll get some professionals out there. And what they do is, and I know you'll do this, you'll pull all the comparable sales in the neighborhood, see what things are selling for. Then we also sort of project, are there any other homes with the addition or with the added second level, and what are those selling for? And then maybe get you in a car and just drive around to see, if you had all that money invested, what could possibly another house look like, and how would that help your family?
Right. Knowledge is power.
There you go.
Okay.
Good stuff, Joe. Hey, Joe, congratulations on buying that house. Right, boy.
Sounds great.
Who's going to tell you that real estate isn't the right thing? I'd rather rent.
Yeah, that's a heck of a deal you got. It sounds like.
Wow, lots of equity in it. It really leads me to the next. Let's throw it out there again. Lots of folks have equity in their homes. Do the right thing with your equity. We got a lot of families that are calling us talking about refinancing. Well, the first thing we want you to do is refinance your mortgage into a mortgage that's going to make sense for you. So, for example, if you were paying MIP on an FHA mortgage, now you definitely want to refinance that home and get rid of that MIP. Yeah, the MIP never goes away on an FHA.
I heard Harvey calling all his FHA clients this week, telling them exactly that.
Yeah, we want to switch into a conventional loan.
And he's going to roll them into a conventional loan. There's no mortgage insurance premium anymore. That is done.
And if they have enough equity, Harry, they might not have any mortgage insurance.
And they have a nice fixed rate, and then they can lay their head down on their pillow, not worry about it. We've improved their situation, and it's just financially it makes sense.
And one thing you're talking about FHA buyers, Harry, and a lot of times FHA buyers think that an appraisal is an inspection, and they hear the term, they do an inspection on an FHA purchase, and it's not the case. They check for safety issues, making sure smoke detectors in homes. I see so many houses where I walk into and there's not one smoke detector in the house, not one carbon monoxide detector in the house, and people smoke in the house. Each bedroom ceiling should have a smoke detector in front of the door in the bedroom. Each hallway ceiling should have a smoke detector and the ceiling. The basement needs a smoke detector. You should have one carbon monoxide alarm on each floor of the house. These are safety devices that are going to alert you if there's ever a problem.
Yep, health and safety issues, especially on FHA, but just in general, okay? Here, I don't smoke. I have smoke detectors, but if you smoke, you should have a smoke detector.
Yeah, if you've got an ashtray in your house, you want to smoke.
Because after watching the game and you're all lit up and everything like that, you go to bed with a cigarette in your mouth and it hangs out. You better have a smoke detector.
If it saves one life out there, all right. Again, check your house out there if you're listening later this afternoon. I like the carbon monoxide. Get that one up there, too.
Come on.
Hey, let's roll off to another question here. We got Mike calling in from Clarkston. Mike, you got a question about home inspections. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, a friend of mine recently purchased a house, and he had a home inspection, and the guy went down in the crawl space and said, yeah, everything's good. So then this guy goes to start working on the bathroom and this and that, and everything's so out of whack. He goes under there, and he sees that the exterior bond doesn't even reach all the way to the corner, and some of these stringers for the floor joists aren't even touching the main beam, and this guy missed a lot down there. I mean, is there any recourse to get it from him, or because he had a quote from one of your people on that advertised, and it was a hefty quote. I mean, here he's looking at another $15,000 bill on top of whatever.
Mike. It's a real bummer. It's a tough question. How are you going to answer that one?
Yeah, that is unfortunate. Unfortunately, your friend's probably going to have to go back after take a legal route if that's the case. They want to go with unidentified things that weren't identified during the inspection that are causing major structural problems.
We can't see it through the wall. I remember, Mike, we had a client call several years ago, and he said, hey, when he sold his house, and 2 months later they started doing some work, and they opened up a wall, and then they saw this mold. I've even had a family member that's happened to. So there's just certain things you don't know, and you are buying a house as is.
Absolutely. The house is as is, and it's important. That's why it's important to have an inspector do a thorough job. When you get a house with a crawl space like that, you want to make sure your inspector goes in that crawl space, crawls through that crawl space, looks around, and even questioning him.
He was right there. The guy put the hazmat suit on, went under and everything, came back out and said everything was good. So, I mean, how do you protect yourself against that?
That's a great question. Last week we had the same kind of situation. We had an inspector go in, allegedly inspected everything. Appliances didn't work, things didn't come out. There was nothing on the seller's disclosure disclosing that. And then it's unfortunate that you have to go maybe to the legal remedy.
Well, then you start wasting the money. Hey, Mike, thanks for the call. We'll follow up with you also.
It's a good call. Everybody has to hear that.
Yeah, but then families start spending a lot of money and chasing something that might not be there. And then you could use that money to do the home repairs and move forward with your life. Hey, more professional people involved are going to help you avoid those problems. Let's continue the calls. We're running out of little time. Kevin out there, pros and cons of renting to own a house out in Ypsilanti. You on the air, Kevin? Go up. Here we go. There we go. Hey, Kev, you're on the air. Go ahead, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
Real good.
Kev.
How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Kev, go ahead with your question.
Yes. What are the pros and cons of renting to own a house?
You mean entering a purchase agreement on a rent-to-own basis?
Yes. Yes.
It's a good question. It comes up quite a bit. It ties in with not only purchasing a home, but also how you can purchase a home. Do you have any issues where you think you couldn't get a mortgage at this time?
No, I recall you guys said that you shouldn't put everything you have down on the house just in case something goes wrong.
That's 1,000%. You know what we run into, Kevin, often is we see these rent-to-owns, and what it is, it's great for the landlord because he's got a tenant in there like you who thinks he's going to own this house one day, so he takes great care of the house. A lot of times, the buyers or potential buyers get sort of suckered into the idea that they're going to put extra money into each payment and that this person's going to put it away. What we find in the mortgage industry is these things are not done professionally. The paperwork is sloppy, and what we'd rather suggest to you is you just rent the house, and then whatever additional
either rent that house or let us take a look at. There are low down payment programs that you don't have to take everything that you have in the bank, and we're dead set against that. You shouldn't throw everything in. You have to keep some money in we call it old school rainy day fund. Things are going to happen. All right. So, and plus you're going to want to buy stuff for that house. You want to buy furniture. Hey, man, I don't know about you, but I got to have about 10 big screens in my house. You're going to want to get that.
Hey, Kev, we'll follow up.
But that's it. You got to have all that stuff. You have to have a rainy day fund. But if you can qualify for a mortgage, there are certainly programs that we can put you to that you can afford and that we set you up for success that you can afford.
I also say, once you're able to get that mortgage, the world opens up to you with what you can buy. You're not stuck on this one home.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where you're almost, forcing yourself to be in that one place.
Yeah, and then seller's concessions always play a significant part. Hey, Kevin, it's a great call, and it's something we talk about often. As you know, Evan, seller's concessions play a great role in FHA purchases. So
great program.
Up to 6% seller's concessions are allowed. Again, you can only use to cover the closing costs and the prepaid items. But lots of good information there, and that music already, guys. This is one of my favorite shows. Matt, outstanding. Target Home Inspections.
Evan, phenomenal.
Evan, fantastic stuff. I thought you guys were going to be quiet and not talk a lot. Not the case at all. Really outstanding.
Thanks a lot,
Call
guys.
us at Capital Mortgage Fund if you want to get hooked up with true professionals. Again, Matt's a great home inspector. Evan Partridge and his team do a phenomenal job. If you're listing or selling, looking to want to buy a house, get more professional people in your life. And, of course, always call Capital Mortgage Fund 1-800-LOW RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Go green.
All right, here we got a lot going out tonight. We got the Michigan State game. I see Pat Caputo. He's all fired up.
Let's go. Get a win.
Keep it here on 97.1 for the ticket. For Harry Glantz, I'm Harvey Freed. Catch you next Saturday.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Dan Burke for